Yeah, I'm Jane from Zenowell. Actually, I'm the co-founder of Zenowell, and my background is actually in cognitive neuroscience. I got my PhD in 2019 from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And after my postdoctoral research, after finishing my postdoctoral research, me and three of my partners, we co-founded the company in 2022. Actually, we started the company in 2021, and we started to meet some investors. We were quite lucky because the economic situation is not that good at that time after the pandemic. And we got our first angel investment. Then we started the company. Our company we have a different kind of pipeline in our company. Actually, our portfolio includes two pipelines of the products. One pipeline is for medical and research use, mainly in mainland China and Hong Kong. Actually, we just submitted the FDA last month, so we can
exciting.
yeah, very exciting. We submitted all the documents to FDA last month. We have started the CE documents preparation this month. We plan to submit it by November, I think, because we have already done a lot. We got the medical approval back in China for vagus nerve stimulation device. Another pipeline of our product portfolio is the home use or the wellness device, the device you guys are using actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically we have a pipeline of very serious, two pipelines are very serious, just that pipeline is, yeah, it's actually, I think from the perspective of customer, actually, they are more critical to they have more critical, let's say, comments on our products compared to the research use products. Because for the research or medical use products, they are used by the professionals, let's say, physicians and doctors or therapists. So basically, the patients do not need to use by themselves. They just follow the instruction the doctors or the scientists put the device on them, even with some sensors, let's say some ECG sensors, to collect their heart rate signal or collect their heart rate variance signal, or some EEG sensors put on their head to collect the electrical signal coming out from their head. Or EGG signal, actually that one is closely connected to GI issues. Put the sensors on the stomach to collect the signal coming out from your gut to, let's say, yeah, that is super interesting. Actually, we have been running this project since 2023. One of our collaborator, actually, she was super interested in the application value of vagus nerve stimulation on GI functions. So she proposed an idea that whether we can use EGG, the electrical gut, this kind of how to say, the short name is EGG. I forgot the long name already. So it's kind of using some sensor put on the stomach. It can receive the signal, electrical signal coming out from your stomach, and also you in all your GI organs. Actually, as long as they are moving, it will send out electrical signal, whether it is moving fast or slow compared to the baseline or normal situation. Let's say before you eat something or after you eat something, whether it is, yeah. So that kind of signal combined with our vagus nerve stimulation to see whether our vagus nerve stimulation can help with their GI functions before and after the meal. So that is a very interesting project. We start to run 2 years ago. That is closely related to the topic we are going to touch on today. So that are all quite, how to say, complex products we have been using in hospitals and institutes. But in last year, actually, our company, we have a lot of questions from our patients, actually, from the patients in China and also in Hong Kong. They ask whether we can have home use products. whether we can have the products we can use at home by ourselves, because before last October we didn't have the products to direct users. We only use
Mm-hmm.
for the and research purposes. So after receiving a lot of requirements, because we don't have that kind of products at that moment, but we start to think that we can make that kind of product because it is very easy to use. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
we can make it quite small. We don't need the patients or the users to adjust the parameters by themselves. We just preset some parameters, and we can just provide, let's say, different kind of modes for different kind of conditions. So after let's say around 1 month of the all the preparation for the documents or for the materials, because we have already the whole set of the, let's say, the device, all the documents, all the test reports, we just wrap them up and developed our first generation, the Vita generation, the black one, and
Mm-hmm.
we put it online and to see whether our customers are interested in our products or not, whether the products can help them or not. Later, we found that the feedback was very good. We even have the doctor from Florida. Actually, she suffered from, let's say, the long COVID symptoms. She
Mm-hmm.
has very difficulty in falling asleep. She tried every vagus nerve stimulation product in the market, and then she found us because for other vagus nerve stimulation device, she encountered the difficulty to put the device, the electrode in her ear. Only our
Mm-hmm.
product, our device, our electrode can fit her ear. So she bought
Wow.
our product. Yeah, she was the first professional user who tried our product
Mm-hmm.
and gave us a very long comment directed to our website. So at that moment, actually encouraged us to, let's say, to make the product even user friendly. So from last November to this year, to this October, actually we are keep updating our product. Very small details of the product can make a big change, such
Mm-hmm.
as the product itself or the user guide or the any documents you can have in the box actually have been upgraded many times. For actually Joe, a little bit introduction of Joe. He did his PhD in Germany, and
Mm-hmm.
his supervisor Hawker, Professor Hawker. Uh, Professor Hawker is actually on our website. He is super supported on our project. He's also one of our consultant scientists. He is using our device to do the research, the clinical research on the blood pressure and the vagus nerve stimulation on the
Wow.
on the patients who has, let's say, has the kidney problem. So
Okay.
yeah, so basically why Joe and I can met because we have the how to say intersection of the research project. His
Mm-hmm.
supervisor is doing similar research projects on vagus nerve stimulation and blood pressure, and also my previous experience is all about neuromodulation, how to use different kind of tools to understand your brain and to modulate your brain. So we co-founded this company and developed the series of the products and push them into the market. Then we are here now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's amazing. I know when we first met a couple months ago, I had been looking for, selfishly for myself, trying to find a vagus nerve stimulator and going through, like, there's tons of options on the market and everything is slightly different, but there was something that drew me into Zenowell. And I am so glad that I did, because I know from personally trying the product, because, with G-PACT as a whole, we don't ever want to say, try this if we've never tried it ourselves. And you guys were amazing to teach us what to do, what settings, how to look, which one to try. And I know the first couple tries I did, I put it in the sleep setting, because I'm like, let me just see if this will help me get a deeper night's sleep. And after a few days keeping track of the setting, I'm like, I slept better. And I'm a terrible sleeper. So to know just in a few days to notice enough of a difference to say that I could pay attention and I could see and I could feel a literal difference in only a few days. I can only imagine what, 3 months, 6 months, a year of consistent use is really going to make a difference. And I know one of the earlier conversations that we had talking about, is there a direct correlation between using a device like this and, any change in motility? We don't, as with most motility issues, there's not enough research, but there's interest in this research and it is starting. And it's something I think, because a lot of our treatments are invasive or the medications have side effects that need another medication to combat a side effect, that this was a very non-invasive way to see if you can improve your symptoms. And if you can improve your sleep, you can improve even some of your pain, some of your stress and anxiety, that can snowball in a good way to
Yeah,
helping relieve some of the stress internally that we get from having gastroparesis and all of the other issues, because we know stress goes right to the gut. So even if it doesn't directly fix the motility, it can help the motility in calming down some of the other issues that we deal with. And I
exactly.
definitely noticed that for myself. So I can say, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but we've heard nothing but great reviews from people who have tried the product so far, that it does help. So I'm really excited to see, like I said, like where 6 months is going to be from consistent use
Yeah.
and where a year from now is going to be on something that is so simple but so powerful that it can really make such a difference.
I'm so I feel so happy, very encouraged after you say all of this very very how to say very nice comments and a very yeah. Actually, I'm a I use the device every day by myself. I can say
Hmm.
I'm a very how to say consistency makes a huge change on myself.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I use I carry my device every day, even I on
Hmm.
my vacation or I go to for business trip, or
Hmm.
every morning. Actually, I use it. I use different kind of modes, just like you
Hmm.
said. I I check my sleep situation every day with
Hmm.
Whoop. Also with the iWatch, I cross check all the features to see whether
Hmm.
it helps or not. Just like you said, yeah, I can see the. Actually, it's not after several days I started to change to see my changes. It's after 1 to 2 months I started to see my changes. Actually, yeah, I just kept using it for uh since I s- since I started develop the the device. I got the
Hmm.
first one by myself. I started to use it actually. At that time, because I don't have too many problems per se. I don't have sleep problem. I don't have the let's say stress problem. I have some stress, but I don't have the stress problem that can cause let's say anxiety or panic attack. But
Hmm.
I do feel that after starting the company, I don't feel that energetic, especially let's say after a long day of um especially a long day of social connection or
Yes.
social interaction with people. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm my whole energy is pulled out by other people.
Hmm.
I energy left for myself is about to going down to zero. So
Mhm.
I started to think what kind of parameters or what kind of protocol I can design for myself. I can
Mhm.
benefit from the products I designed or my company designed. So I just very, how to say, selfish option for me. I designed a
Mhm.
medic mode. I just personally put a medic mode into the device as the third, third mode for the first generation and the
Mhm.
fourth mode for the second generation. So that mode is, I called it medic mode. In that mode, it is designed for encounter fatigue and pain in
Mhm.
order to let you feel, let's say, more energetic, let you feel refreshed after using it. Especially, there are some small tricks. I will not tell users immediately or immediately after they get the device. I'll try to let them, let's say, try step by step. For the final step, if they still cannot feel, let's say, very obvious changes, I will tell them that you actually compare your breath with the stimulation. Because when you are do, let's say, breath practice, you are actually try to regulate your vagal tone or your vagus nerve. So for the method mode, I deliberately set the stimulation pattern as 4 seconds on and 4 seconds off. So I'm not sure whether you noticed that actually for relaxed mode and the method mode, both are using 4 seconds on and 4 seconds off. So for the,
Interesting.
yeah, that is but for the method mode, because a lot of studies, neuroimaging studies, shown that for the method mode, for the method mode, that kind of parameter can activate the brain regions that
Mhm.
is responsible for inhibit pain and create more energy for your body, especially when you pair your breath with it. Let's say
Mhm.
when you are breathing out, the stimulation applied to your ear that can create 1 plus 1 larger than 1 is not larger than 2. At least it is larger than 1, that kind of effect. So actually, I benefit a lot from this project per se for myself.
Mhm.
Last month, I actually in August I started a challenge for myself. I need to use it at least 5 to 10 minutes every morning.
Mhm.
So yeah, just constant use every morning, no matter I was in, let's say, I was in Europe or in Australia. I must use it to create that kind of routine or habit.
Mhm.
I After I start to see the changes from Whoop, from the recovery, that kind of feature, yeah, my recovery feature start to change from, let's say, 40% to, let's say, now I have average recovery, that kind of feature about 80 to 70%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
So
big difference.
that is very big difference. Just very interesting thing is because in my the day before yesterday, I went for farming experience, and my
Mhm.
recovery score is hitting to 99%. So
Wow.
it's kind of, if you use, let's say, natural way to heal
Mhm.
yourself. Let's say you go closer to the nature, you go closer to the green, the trees, the
Mhm.
lake. Yeah, you do some muscle work with family members. All of these things can help. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you that small things, like say sleep, anxiety, emotion, all of these things can actually help the later more serious problem, let's say the GI problems we are going to talk about today. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we did ask our community to, reach out and say, what do you want to learn about the device or how it works? And we got quite a few questions. So one of the questions was, how often should I use it? And when will you see changes? And what should you see and feel? And now, while the second question there is very individualized because it'll depend on, like you said, how often are you using it? How consistent are you with it? But what would you recommend, or can you recommend a setting or usage pattern for somebody with GI dysmotility to start using the product?
Okay, so for the first question, how often you should use it? It actually depends on the conditions. Let's say, because let's say for people with GI issues, especially for our community, some people may have different kind of conditions. Can I say in that way? Let's say some people may encounter pain more often. Let's say some
Sure.
people may, yeah. So basically, the conservative protocol is you use it, let's say 1 session or 2 sessions per day in the morning, yeah, or morning session plus evening session. Like that is the routine protocol or recommended actually by doctors.
Hmm.
But if you have, let's say you have very regular pain and attack, let's say suddenly you feel pain, suddenly you have nausea, or you just feel, or you can't fall asleep in the evening, you just grab the device to use it. It's just like anytime or anywhere you need it. Depends
Okay.
on the what kind of condition occurs. Yeah, but
Okay.
um it's except for the routine or the recommended the sessions, I think consistency is the most important part. So if you decide to use it, just use it regularly. Regular
Hmm.
daily use can provide long-term benefits. So for 1 session or 2 session, you may feel a little bit relief or pain or fall asleep faster, but only with regular use or consistent use, let's say for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you may feel the change in your body. Let's say if you
Hmm.
use some sensors to check the balance of your autonomic nervous system, you may have the index showing that it is the parasympathetic activity is um, stronger compared
Hmm.
to, let's say, 4 weeks before.
Sure.
Yeah, you may feel like your motility is improved, let's say after 4 weeks, at least according to the clinical studies that have been published earlier. Their routine is to use it 4 weeks and twice a day. That is how often you should use it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, for those in our community who have the implanted gastric stimulator,
Mhm.
is there any issue with using your device along with having that implanted? I know because of how that works internally, that was a question slash concern with people who were interested in it. They didn't want to say mess up any of the stimulation that they're getting from one device by using another.
Yeah. This is super important question, actually, very critical, and also need to take many precautions, actually.
Mhm.
Very interesting. We got this question actually from our support email. One I think is from the G-PACT community. Yeah, she asked us whether she can use our device. So, our suggestion or our recommendation is to always to, let's say, consult the doctors or
Of
the
course.
physician, yeah, to do the who implanted the device on your body. You just consult that kind of person to double check,
Mhm.
because uh, our from our perspective, there can be some risks, because for two reasons. Because two devices are using electrical stimulation to modulate the nerve activity. There
Mhm.
can be some it can be some interference, although the risk is very low, because our device, our electrical pulses are applied to the local area of one
Mhm.
ear. You are using the device, you know the electrical pulses are just applied to the very tiny areas of the ear. So from
Mhm.
the distance perspective, it is quite far away from the gastric stimulator. But The very interesting part is the gastric stimulator, the effect is applied on the vagus nerve. I can say it is directly or indirectly applied on the vagus nerve to try to create that kind of effect. For our TaVNS, our auricular vagus nerve stimulation, our target is also one of our target is also the vagus nerve. So
Hmm.
the effects can, how to say, can fight with each other or
Okay.
collaborate. So we don't know actually. So our suggestion would be, even though the doctors or the physicians may tell you that it is okay, you can use it. If you get that kind of answer, yeah, very lucky, we can use it. But our suggestion would be, do not use it simultaneously. If you are
Okay.
using one device, you just use one device. And after you use that device, you can start to think whether you need to use you need to use the other one or not.
Okay. That's helpful. I know some of the other issues that we have with symptoms with gastroparesis was pain and nausea and bloating. And while, as we kind of touched on earlier, this might not directly say use it at X setting for X amount of time, it'll fix your nausea, it'll lessen the bloating. But in that consistency, the the effects could over time lessen some of those feelings of bloating and nausea that you feel when you're not feeling well. And I know with the sense of like acute and chronic usage, if you're using this consistently over a period of time, that you could also use it in an acute stage, maybe during a flare up of your symptoms, that if you have the consistent use, adding another session per day while in an acute flare could also be beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this kind of logic is similar to our headache intervention. Actually, for the clinical trials we have been running for about 2 years, we have the acute management for the headache and also
Mm-hmm.
the preventive management for the headache. For the acute management, you just use it when it attacks. For the
Mm-hmm.
preventive, you just use it regularly, let's say twice a day, and
Mm-hmm.
keep it consistent.
Yeah, I can say too that I was having like with a lot of my stomach issues, I also deal with chronic migraine. So one of the things that I noticed when cuz they kind of, you were talking about like how symptoms kind of bump into each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I get a migraine attack, it also kicks up a lot of nausea for me, which also increases the migraine, which increases the nausea, and you get in this cycle where if you don't break one of them, you're not going to break either of them. And I had one day where I'm like, my head hurt so bad. I couldn't think straight. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, nothing was helping it. And I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. I did a couple sessions and it pulled everything down from the relief setting. And I was like, whether or not that was a placebo effect or it worked, it didn't matter. It worked. It made me feel better. And I really noticed a difference of bringing something from being unmanageable to a manageable level. Now, it didn't cure the migraine. It didn't fix everything. It's not some, super magic wand that could fix everything, but as somebody who's dealt with chronic migraines and in that moment of, real desperation from pain and nausea, it helped. Took a couple sessions. It took a little while, but it it helped. And I think that with your machine versus a lot of others, because a lot of these vagus nerve stimulators seem to be like marketed toward migraines, chronic headaches, things like that, a lot of the questions that came up were, what makes your machine different from somebody else's? Like if you have migraines, you have gastroparesis, any form of dysmotility, why, besides that, we know that it works and can be helpful. If we can kind of take out of that a little bit and take the bias out of it, what would make somebody want to choose your machine over some of the others that are out there, or what makes it better, I should say?
I see. So this actually is the question we always want to answer better by developing, let's say, better products, and
Mm-hmm.
also run good clinical trials to support our products to make
Mm-hmm.
it better, than others. So I think there are three perspectives I can think of to say
Mm-hmm.
that our products are better than others. I can't say what are the others, but it's not it's sensitive to say others. But for first is the design of our products, the
Mm-hmm.
earpiece design. We we developed a lot of prototypes. The logic, or the most important part, or the better part for our product is we try our best to cover as much as possible for the vagus nerve area.
Mm-hmm.
There are some device use the clip on the tragus,
Mm-hmm.
and we are actually covering two areas of the contra areas,
Mm-hmm.
s- long shape and
Mm-hmm.
this triangle, these two areas. The areas the electrodes of our product cover are much bigger than others, because for here the nerve under this area is 100% innervated by vagus nerve, which means 100% of the nerve underlying this skin belong to vagus nerve. Here
Okay.
for the tragus part is only around 45 to 50% of the nerves belong to vagus nerve.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of just the number perspective. So, and anatomically speaking, we cover a lot. We cover richer vagus nerve.
Mm-hmm.
From the design part, actually we spent a lot of time, or a lot of thoughts on how to make it fit different kind of sizes, because people have
Sure.
different kind of ear. I think
Mm-hmm.
today we still did not do a, let's say, 100 school for that kind of job, because currently our earpiece can only fit around 80 to 85% of people's ears. Still 20 to 15 to 20% of the ears may not feel comfortable with our current earpiece, but we are still try to, let's say, moving forward to updating the earpiece.
Sure.
That is one part for our product. We are
Mm-hmm.
keep rolling forward, rolling up. But for other product, one very famous product, we know very well of that product, because we know well is the manufacturer of that product. It is
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but even we know who is making that product. That product was made 5 to 6 years ago, and that product has never been updated since 5 to 6
Wow.
years ago.
Okay.
It it didn't change at all. It's always looked like that kind of product, just clip on
Mm-hmm.
the triggers. That is quite old. That is one thing. The other thing is, in our product, we are keep updating the protocols or the parameters. It is
Mm-hmm.
not one set of parameter can fit all conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But for some of the other products, let's say some product, they use the neck one, the
Mm-hmm.
put on the neck or put on the tragus. Actually, for their parameters, is quite simple. They only use one set of parameter, try to solve different kind of conditions.
Okay.
um yeah, uh from my research perspective, or my from our studies at least, we don't think it should do in this way, because there are different kind of fibers for vagus nerve. Even
Mm-hmm.
for just one type of one kind of vagus nerve, we call it a vagus nerve. It seems it only has one kind of nerve, but no, it has different kind of small nerves, subgroups of the nerve, just for vagus nerve. Some of the nerve we call it, let's say, sensory nerve. It's just
Mhm.
sending information to the brain. It does not control any part of your body. Some of
Okay.
the nerve, we call it motor nerve.
Mhm.
It can control your heart rate. It can control your gut movement. So basically, even for vagus nerve, it has different kind of subgroups of the nerve with different kind of parameters or
Mhm.
different kind of protocols. Let's say, just like I just said, pairing with your breath or pairing with your heartbeat, it can
Mhm.
create different kind of effects for different kind of conditions. That is another advantage of our product. For the
Yeah.
third one, yeah. Actually, for the third one is we are just keep let's say we our R&D is basically we spend a lot of our money and resources on our R&D, which we are not satisfied with current status of our product. Our second generation will be launched in CES next year, next January.
Mhm.
We will go to Las Vegas for the CES 2026. We will launch our second generation. It will be a small pebble. You can just hold it on your hand. It can create some breath guidance vibration. It can also check measuring your heart rate
Wow.
variance and your respiratory signal with the very small. You can hold it in your hand, in one hand, and that small device you can just put it in your hand and guide you to do breath practice and stimulate your vagus nerve stimulation and also measuring your uh body signals. So we are keep moving forward. I think that is another advantage of our product. We have app. We are developing our own app. We will also launch the app in next January. But don't worry, you all of the users can use the device just without the app. We don't want
Mhm.
the app to be a burden for any user. So as long as
Sure.
you have the device, you just use the device without app, still work. So don't
Mhm.
worry about the subscription or of the fee part because we want more and more people know more about vagus nerve stimulation or vagus nerve. We do not want create a gate for
Sure.
new people who want to know who may benefit from the technology. So I think these three perspectives are the advantages or the differences I can think of. Yeah,
Mhm.
compared to other products or other companies.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear that there's new things coming out. I know granted, you guys aren't directly connected to the GI research world, but adjacently you are. And one of the things that has been so frustrating for patients in gosh, like the last couple decades is that research is so stagnant and things aren't happening. And it's left us with very limited options for surgeries, for medications, for treatments. And it just kind of leaves us wondering, well, what do we do now? If everything that's available has failed us or had only a minimal, improvement of quality of life and symptoms, what are we supposed to do? So it's great to see that even though it's not directly connected, it still is that there are people that see this worked well here, but how can we improve upon it? What else can we do to make an even larger benefit? So, like the product you were talking about that's launching next year, like I am already interested to see what that's going to be like and how that's going to be helpful. And I think it's just adding more options to people who have chronic issues, whether that's anxiety, dysmotility, sleep issues, or really just general wellness. Like you were saying with yourself too, that while you don't have the same level of chronic issues that a lot of our community has, there's still a benefit to doing something and getting in touch with yourself, finding ways to improve where you already are and be able to make yourself feel better, help that recovery, get yourself to an elevated place where your body just feels better, because at the end of the day, that's really all we want, is to feel better. Um,
Exactly. Live longer, feel better.
yeah. Yeah, and all of us have felt pretty bad for a long time. It's very promising to see that there are studies. I've read some myself. I know early on you had sent me some studies researching. So this is something that, while it's new and because it has potential, we all want to latch onto it very quickly and, really want to see that difference because we've been suffering for so long. So knowing that there is a high interest in types of devices like this as a treatment for GI dysmotility, not just gastroparesis, but IBS. I've seen some studies talking about
Yeah.
Crohn's and colitis and other parts of the body in the GI tract of where that dysmotility is. So, we all want to improve our stomach emptying, our bowel movements, our digestion, all of those things. And I think that the more interest there is in these types of devices, the more research people like you are doing, the better outcomes we're going to be. We're just a very impatient group of people because we just want to feel better. But
Yeah.
one last question I wanted to ask, because I know that this was something that came up a couple times, with the different modes. I know we had talked about that a little bit in the beginning. But I know, like, when I first put the device in my ear and you start increasing the modes, you're not really sure what to choose, like what level to choose.
Exactly.
Obviously, as you do it longer, you will very likely increase the levels, which I know I have, and I imagine you probably have as well, and that'll change with tolerance. But is there a set of parameters, at least, that maybe you'd recommend in starting at a certain level, where maybe you feel a slight tingle in the ear and just start there? Or do you really want to feel it right away? Because if someone's never used a device like this, it can feel really funny in your ear. So it can also take some time to get used to.
Yeah, this is a very important question. We need to serious discuss about it. Yesterday, I got a similar question from my previous personal therapist. She is using my, she is using my product because she is undergoing some menopause. She has difficulty in sleep. So once she got the device, the same question she asked me, what kind of intensity I should use? Do I need to
Mm-hmm.
feel do I need to feel pain? No, 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 you can't feel pain. So the first principle is do not feel pain. So follow the guidance or read the small flyer a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
carefully. Just try to make sure the earpiece you wear the earpiece correctly
Mm-hmm.
and you don't feel pain. You on the left ear, sorry. So you don't feel pain. You just wear it, and
Mm-hmm.
with the gel, no pain. That is the first principle. Second, about the tingling feeling, yeah, that is good direction actually. As long as you can select a mode according to your own condition. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
if you want to try the sleep mode, then you just try sleep mode. You increase the intensity until you feel some
Mm-hmm.
tingling on the ear. You don't feel any, let's say, pain feeling. You can increase one step more to see
Mm-hmm.
whether you feel pain or not. If you do not feel pain, you just leave it there for the first session.
Mm-hmm.
Then after you use it, let's say you have used it 2 to 3 days or 2 to 3 sessions, you can try to increase a little bit more with the correct with the also with the gel and with the correct position of the electrodes to feel a little bit strong vibration actually. So Samantha, I'm not sure whether you felt vibration or not. So do
Mm-hmm.
you have the vibration feeling on your ear?
Yes, it took, as you said, a couple times to really get the position right. And for me, I had to take the rubber piece off of
Uh-huh.
the device to get it to fit in properly. So once I did that and got it in the right spot, I was like, oh, I think that's what I was supposed to feel. So there is a little trial and error and getting it in the right spot, getting enough gel on the device as well can make a big difference. But I noticed, because I turned it up, I'll admit I turned it up too high the first time, and that was a little bit of a jolt in my ear, but that was user error, not device error. Um,
Yeah,
but
but
once I
mm,
got it in the ear, I had because I'm familiar with like TENS machines, so that's
mhm.
kind of what I was expecting. And it is similar, but you do feel a bit of a vibration in the ear as well. So it was very interesting once I got it in the right spot and at the right setting. I'm like, okay, I think that's what I was supposed to feel. So it did take me a couple tries.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I noticed that some one of your question is how long it may take to learn how to use the device.
Hmm.
Yeah, it may take several try and errors. So after you tried, let's say for 2 to 3 sessions, you can try to increase a little bit more to feel the
Hmm.
a little bit strong vibration. You can feel around this area. You may feel some twitch of the even the twitch of the muscles around here sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah, some people told me that they may feel the whole hemisphere can feel something. There are some users.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Also, later I'll tell you another more interesting thing. Yeah, after you have already tried, let's say, sleep mode or relax mode. I just mentioned we have another mode called medit mode. Medit
Hmm.
mode is a little bit stronger. So the feeling of the medit mode is a little bit, it's just like stingy, just like the bee sting you.
Hmm.
It's like that kind of feeling.
Hmm.
You may need a little bit more careful about uh that kind of stimulation. So try to increase slowly for the medit mode until you feel a little bit, let's say, tingling. You can try
Hmm.
to, let's say, get used to the tingling for around, let's say, 5 minutes, and then try to increase 1 to 2 steps to feel more about the stronger stimulation coming from the medit mode. So
Hmm.
it's not like the stronger of the intensity, the better. Actually, everyone has their own uh personalized intensity.
Hmm.
Actually, because individual difference is very big. Your sensory nerve is different from others. Actually, so that is the reason why you may feel pain, let's say at level 5. Some people may feel pain at level 20. That can be
Hmm.
the reason of the sensory nerve. So after, let's say, you have already tried, let's say, for 2 weeks, you may feel like, say, 10 is cannot satisfy me. You may even need to go to higher. That is quite common, actually. Some people, let's say, after around 4 weeks or 2 months, they can go to, let's say, 15 to 20 for the intensity, actually, because the both of your brain and your nerve, your cognition and your sensory nerves get used to the stimulation. You can predict what will happen, so you will not, let's say, afraid of the stimulation. You will get used to the stronger intensity. But we
Hmm.
set maximal at 30. There's a reason for that. That is the safety. That is the safety line there. So you can
Sure.
go. Yeah. So basically, that is the whole explanation of how high the intensity should be.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Especially knowing that there is that, like, I've never hit 30. I don't know if I ever will, but it's good to know that there is that safety parameter that you aren't going to go too far for
Ex-
those safety reasons. You might go a little, if you were like me and did user error ahead of time, it might have made it a little bit difficult in the beginning, but I think it's just a learning curve for all of us as we're trying something new. So, but well, thank you for answering all of our questions. I know our community will be very excited to learn more and continue to understand the devices and be very excited as research comes out and there's more information for everybody as well.
yeah. Oh, Samantha, I may want to add one
Yeah.
explanation for our device.
Yeah,
Actually,
please. Yeah.
Some yeah, some of our community member ask us why only 1 earpiece actually. So I want to add more about that part because
Sure.
traditional yeah, for the invasive device for the vagus nerve stimulation, it is actually implanted on the left vagus nerve because if
Okay.
it is implanted on the right vagus nerve, it will have stronger effects on the heart rate, which means the
Okay.
patients may have heart rate drop significantly. Let's say after 5 to 10 minutes, the heart rate may drop significantly, may have the danger for their life. So the invasive one is put on the left. So following this kind of tradition setting for the invasive vagus nerve stimulation, we choose the left side. Um,
Okay.
at the same time, we also track all the clinical studies of auricular vagus nerve stimulation.
Mhm.
Around 65% of the studies, clinical studies, are done with the left vagus nerve stimulation. So that's the main reason we choose the left one. We also provide the right earpiece for some specific use because some users who suffering from the migraine, they may have the right side, but not the left side because 6% of the migraineurs may have the half of the hemisphere may encounter this kind of pain. So for that
Okay.
use, they can, let's say if today they have a headache on the left side, it may help for let's say use left one for the right side, may more use helpful for the right side. Some doctors may recommend use this kind of protocol. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So thank you for sharing that because I think that's really important for people like myself or anybody else who does deal with chronic migraines on top of gastroparesis, or maybe that is their main diagnosis. That's helpful to know like what to use, and maybe purchasing both earpieces too for reasons like that, so they can kind of figure out what they want and what they need as they go, and not only be able to use one side if, it's not going to work or make them feel worse. We obviously don't want to do anything that would make somebody feel worse.
Yeah.
So,
This kind of conclusion is from clinical experience. We are also
mhm.
running RCT trials to provide more serious data to support, let's say, if you have migraine on left side, whether it is more useful on the left versus on the right side. Yeah,
Interesting.
we are waiting for the data.
Mhm. Well, we will be very interested once you guys are able to publish a lot of, the data from the studies that you're doing, just to see where things are headed and what's to come. I know it's been very exciting to see things happen, on from our perspective for you guys, and can't thank you enough for partnering with us and, sitting down with me and answering all the questions because we definitely had a lot of them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your trust on us. And also thank you for, we are looking forward new comments and new suggestions for our product. If you guys need more, let's say more protocols or more personalized parameters or have more questions, we can always talk with each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I know we'll make sure to put information in the caption under the video here, for anybody that does have any additional questions that are a little more individualized than what you've been able to answer for us today. And we will always stay in contact. So, we'll have more as you guys have more news for us to share too.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking
So,
forward to that.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.